We are back again with you guys. This is the very opinionated show, and I hope you're going to enjoy tonight. We got a good topic for you guys. I'm sorry, suffering a little cough here. But tonight we are going to talk about the different divided shades, of America. Again, divided shades of America. Come on, introduce yourself, Max.
Hi everybody. Hello. I think this is going to be a good show tonight. I hope you all are ready, because I'm sure we are. Miss Snow.
Good evening. We are back again live, and we have a lot to talk about and a lot opinions about the different subjects. So just enjoy the show. Welcome and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe, and also thank you for liking us. And go ahead, keep posting those comments. So give us some ideas. Would you like for us to discuss on this show?
Right on.
All right, now, look, it's going to be a real kind of touchy subject. We're going to be hitting on, just to kind of give you a quick overlay, we're going to talk about systematic racism, we're going to talk about economical, and from the naturalism and everything. So, what I'm trying to get to a point to understand how the minds of people work.
Right.
Now, let me say this here. Max, it's almost to me that people don't even seem to be aware of, we are all connected through DNA, and to have racism to be brought up, even in family members.
That's true.
It's kind of an issue where people seem like they don't want to take responsibility, be accountable for their past action and their present action.
Correct.
Now, come on, kind of give me an overlay what you think on. What do you think about race?
Racism is a touchy topic, particularly now in 2020. Everything's amplified politically.
Right.
Politics just creep up through the cracks of every part of our society. So racism, it's still alive. It still continues to move throughout our society. It's not something that necessarily it's less covered up than it used to be. Some of it is more apparent now than it was before. However, there are some of the things that are still kind of there, but people overlook them or don't pay attention to.
Now, Miss Gorgeous Snow, what do you think about race?
Where do I begin? Well, my honest opinion about the race is we are all residents of this Mother Earth, and we are all human race. We have one brain, we have 2 arms and 2 legs, 2 eyes. We should not be that much more different than that. There is actually no difference. We all bleed the blood. We all, if you get hurt, need a blood supply. So I'm having a very difficult times with when it comes to shades that people incorporated as a norm in United States of America. That's a social norm.
Right.
Everybody else who thinks differently, it's outsider, and that norm is a kind of, oh, how dare you?
Right.
But I have to tell you one thing, that it's 2021. We just began 2021. It's about time to stop looking people and judging people by the color of their skin, shade of their skin. I won't say color, it's a shade, it's a spectrum of the shade. We all go and we stay on the sun, and our shade can change each day differently. In 30 days, my shade will be completely different.
Correct.
So when somebody meets me 30 days earlier, they're gonna talk about me in one instance, but if they meet me 30 days later, they're gonna think of something else. Again, lots of assumption, and I don't like it.
So
I don't like assumptions.
So to kind of, I ain't gonna say clarify, but they even classify you being a blonde as they said most blondes the elevator don't go all the way up to the top of it. So I think that's, to me now, that's prejudice or you stereotyping.
That's a stereotype.
Yes.
I wouldn't say it's racism, but it's more so stereotyping because all black folks do not eat watermelon. I can tell you that now. I can't eat no more fried chicken, so that throws me out of that. So
yeah, that's all form of prejudice. We have different forms of prejudice, and many people. I'm gonna tell you this. You might not gonna like it. We all are prejudiced.
That is true.
And,
that is true.
And even if I'm talking about the fat piece of bacon and somebody doesn't like it, it's too fat, there you go, prejudice. Just a little small things that people don't even pay attention
It's the
to.
preferences.
It's actually prejudice. It's a personal preference, personal beliefs. Then people insert, I wish people were more kind and sensitive and ask questions before you make a statement. For example, you see somebody that has a curly hair, dark curly hair, and he has a darker complexion. What you gonna say? That's a black person. No, he is not a black. What I'm wearing now, it's black, and prove me wrong. Go ahead, fight with me. Number one. Number two, I do not know parents of that person. He might take genetics of one parent. His parents might be completely two different races. How dare I to call that person black? How dare I put my input on what this person is without knowing him and without asking him a single question about it?
Right.
That's the problem I have. Do not assume. And if you do not know, I'll tell you what, I am that blonde who's gonna explain to people when you call me and tell me to describe a person. I'll tell you it has a tan skin, it has a dark curly hair. If you ask me, is it Hispanic, is it black, or is it white? I cannot tell you why, because if that person never asked them what they choose to express themselves as, I do not know, and I have no right to say and assume their race or their skin color shade. I don't have that right. Remember that. That's a right, and I don't have right to do it. Now, do we every day meet the people who do it and think it's not a big deal? That's what I'm talking about, that norm. They made it as a norm. It's not normal. It shouldn't be norm. And get out of your heads and get out of that state of mind, seriously.
Well, they say, you're in Rome, you do as the Roman. Max, but let me ask you this, Max. Wasn't born here.
No, I wasn't.
And how long you been here?
Well, before I answer that question, I just want to point out that we're all matching tonight. We're all wearing black, and I guess great minds think alike.
Hey, but they say always bet on black. But go ahead.
Yeah.
You've been here how long?
So I've been here this next month. It's going to be 16 years.
16 years, and thus far,
I've been here.
Been here in America, but per se,
Right.
I would say, great state of H-Town.
Right.
What is your perception of H-Town and the variety of people here?
Well, there's a diverse group here. Definitely one of the most diverse cities in USA.
Yes, it is.
Which is pretty cool, which
Right.
is pretty awesome, in a way, it makes you feel accepted in a sense, because, the city, kind of shows you that, it's okay to have, people of different colors, ethnicities, hang out together,
Right.
date each other, it's no big deal, people are used to that, and that's a wonderful thing about
But you
Houston.
still got some ignorant folks out there now.
Well,
Houston is okay, but they ain't perfect.
Well, now I'll tell you one thing though. I've been 16 years here. 16 years I've had the opportunity to look at people, observe people,
Right.
listen to people, interact with people. And there's that level of ignorance that comes across from either side,
Right.
like from across the spectrum, so to speak. And it's really interesting to me, particularly because I've been judged a lot, I guess, by my color of my skin. Of course, that was the very first thing that the people observe. Usually I slick my hair on the
Right.
side. I like to dress nicely. Conservative in a sense, but nicely. I like to have nice clothes. I like to have nice fitting clothes. But before I speak or people hear my accent, they're gonna label me. They're gonna put those, all those they're gonna stereotype me, and they're gonna put me in a certain category without knowing me, knowing my story, knowing who I am as a human being.
Right,
And
right.
that's what I have an issue with.
Correct.
That's a big issue for me personally, because you're talking to me, and I've heard people say it and talk about me. Oh, he's white. He's privileged. Oh, he's that guy. Oh, he's gonna get that job. And the things of that nature, and that's what really bothers me.
Right.
Because oftentimes, people are gonna look at me, and then when I speak and they hear my accent, they'll be like, oh, so you're not from around here? Oh, okay. But before that, they already had a certain
Correct.
picture of me in their mind, and which
Now, since you brought up, job and everything, let me tell y'all something. This young man is a grad from U of H. And let me tell y'all something. The man is a very intelligent young man. But let me just share this here. If you think he's privileged to get a job, I would tell you, hell no. He's still looking for work.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been graduated a whole year with his degree. Now, look, I got a job. I got a couple of jobs. But he need a job. But, of course, as any grad would, they will fill out the applications and stuff like that. I had a good friend of mine. He told me, he said he took a business course, and the professor was at Southern University, and he told him in class, he said specifically, Miss Gorgeous Snow, that sometimes the companies will look at the name,
right,
and immediately just throw the application in the trash.
Right.
Or, tech world now, of course, everything is online. They look at, Jamal? No, we can't hire him. They just overlook this person.
well,
That's crazy to me.
it is, and I've actually faced that, because while my name is Max on this show, in real life it isn't, and
Right.
I have a really long last name, and of course oftentimes I think that may be the result, because this guy, his name's John, and this guy's name this, and they pretty have matching resumes, but this guy's name's John, and
This man, Leroy. Let's go and give him Leroy.
And this man's name I can't really pronounce, so I don't even want to bother that. So I'm just gonna throw that away.
Correct.
Which is pretty messed up, because you're just ignorant or lazy in a sense, and you can't learn somebody else's name. I mean, unwilling. That's one form of the I
Right.
guess prejudice.
It is.
Now, that's why I was going to ask you, does you think that's a form of prejudice or racism? Because that's considered more of an economical thing. Because the person can be black, or a person can be white or Hispanic.
On one spectrum, it is one of the subjects of the prejudice that you can find anywhere if you Google it. In the other form, it is the racism. Why? Because immediately you place this person as somebody else. Immediately. You see, racism is this. I'm gonna explain to you. You work with somebody and you say, I work with this guy, he's Middle Eastern. No, he lived here over 25 years, he's an American.
Right.
You saying or assuming that he's Middle Eastern, it's racist. Remember that. It's racist. That's racist. So racism is not just amongst, it's a black and white. No, racism exists amongst every single culture on this earth. Thai people don't like Asian people. And they're specific in that all islanders, although they're part of coast of Asia, do not like to be called Asian. And Thai women absolutely hate Chinese women. And don't compare them. And don't think that that's not racist.
Well, you're correct.
I'm just saying the small things that we overlook.
Well,
we see somebody, we say Asian, okay. Yes, the continent of Asia, guess what? Europe is part of continent of Asia, let me break it to you. So if it's European, it's still part of the Asia. So that's a big deal. I guess many of you didn't know that. But yeah, Europe is part of Asia. It's an Asian continent. So, let me then say this. You do not just guess somebody if they're Korean, if they're Vietnamese, if they're Thai, if they're Chinese, or if they're any other of the different races that they have in national origins that they prefer to be called. Ask people what they are, do not assume. This is why I hated Asian. And then they're like, well, no, I'm not considering myself to be that.
But again,
Just because you think that that's the only way you
but
can
again,
identify me,
Miss Snow,
that's assumption.
Right.
you are in Rome. You do as the Romans do.
No, you be a rebel and you be a black sheep.
Excuse me.
And black sheep stands out. Hello to all my black sheep, all people who dare to say what they think and don't care about the consequences.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up because oftentimes, and it's interesting, it runs so deep in this culture that it was shocking to me because of my accent, of course. There are so many people who are gonna be like, so you're like Russian, and my first thought to that is, so you're an idiot, right? Because why? Because I have an accent. I either have to be Russian or Hispanic. For Christ's sake, there's no other culture, there's no other
Nation.
country in this world except those two.
Right,
Really?
right. Well, that's like I said. Here in America, it's pretty much been one-sided for so long,
Right.
and that's the assumption. That's the aim. Now, I mean, you know where your father's from, right?
Right.
And let's just even talk about the religious part of it.
Right.
What religion are he, if you know?
He is a Catholic.
And your mom.
I don't have a religion.
So,
I believe she was raised as Orthodox in a sense.
because pretty much, hey, look, I'm going with the flow and with nature and with the Creator. Now, let's just, and I'm trying to give you an example right quick. Okay, I was raised Methodist.
Okay.
Now watch this. When I became a licensed and ordained minister, I became a licensed and ordained minister under the Southern Baptists.
Okay.
Now, go figure. I didn't follow the African Methodist epistle, but I followed the Southern Baptist.
Okay.
Now, as time went on and on and on and on, and you start observing certain things, it's like different religion I started learning about.
Mm-hmm.
Jehovah's Witness, Lutheran, Protestant, Presbyterian,
Right.
Church of God in Christ. So you have all these different names,
Right.
but I guarantee you, especially Jehovah's Witness, they're not gonna correlate with you at all.
Right.
Period. Because they only deal with their people, and if you're not part of their sect or their religion, not saying that they would discredit your other religion, but it's the involvement part. It's too much. They want too much get involved.
Right.
You trying to explain to how
Okay.
you was raised.
They just want to give you the good news.
Right. That's just
So let me-
from
let
the
me just-
watchtower.
Let me just,
From the watchtower.
okay, while we brought it up, all the religions have one in common thing. You met somebody, then it's outside of the religion, they want you to convert.
Yeah. What?
Well,
You want to become one of them. Guess what? And you might be the same race.
that is true.
So,
That's
what are you
interesting.
actually
That's
converting
very
into? My point is that every religion has a strategy of keeping people in check by making sure that they belong, have a sense of belonging to that particular group. They should not break out of that group, they belong to that group. For you to be part of that group, you have to join that group the way they do
Wait.
it.
Okay, hold on. You know what this sound like? This actually sound like Democrats and Republicans. Either you're a Republican or you're a Democrat. See, a lot of people don't understand when you begin to isolate yourself to being with one part of the group, pretty much you kind of getting brainwashed in a sense.
That's gang affiliation. It's like Bloods and Crips, man.
Yeah, it is.
That is exactly what we're
It is Bloods and Crips. But at the end of the day, that's what it is. It
Yeah,
is.
but
You are
as I
part
say,
of the game.
But you see, that is the big part of racism in America. Political affiliation, it's racism. It's a form of racism, and it's a prejudice.
I thought it was a
One
common
honest
good
prejudice.
for the American people. That's
Oh no,
not right.
oh no, oh no, that's not
It
what
doesn't
it
matter
is.
what part
So,
of it, as long
you know,
as
all that is, we talking about racism and prejudice today. Ding, ding, ding. Religious affiliation, form of that. Ding, ding, ding. Political affiliation, form of that.
Well,
Form
even
of
Roman
that.
Catholic
So
Church
if
is
you
over there.
attacking somebody on that or pointing out, guess what you are? I'll let you finish the sentence.
My. Boy, I tell you.
Oh boy.
You know, it is a touchy subject, but let me just say this here for our listening audience. Look, if God had any attention, because this is just my theory, because if the truth be told, we know who likes to try to dominate everyone, and we know that's the white man. However, if you're going to do any kind of comparison, I go back for Cain and Abel. Look, Cain just, got jealous of his brother because he presented a better sacrifice to God, and more so, Cain was the tiller of the ground, the fruits, the vegetables, all the fixings that we enjoy today. Well, Abel was more so of a sheep herder, So he gave God his best sheep and sacrificed to God. One got jealous, killed the other.
Right.
Now, to me, and God said, I'm going to mark you from here on out. Now, to me, of course, form of jealousy, but where does that stem from? Well, I mean, how can you be jealous of a individual because they do things better than you, they built better than you, they probably sound better than you in a whole bunch of other areas? And then if anybody do the research on the Moors taught, I would say per se the white man, as the Native American would say, certain parts, things to function in their region. Now, with that being said, everyone plays a part in building, watch this, America.
Right.
Every race, not just one race.
Right.
Exactly.
But it seems like to me, one race dominates over everyone that has participated in making sure that America is great. And only way America is great is because of the people, not because of the systematic, not because of things or entitlement. It is because of the people that makes America great. I'm not talking about the ignorant people, because ignorant people can go from black, white, Asian, Hispanic, doesn't matter where you're from. You can be ignorant in every race.
Right.
However, those individuals who have made America great like it is and brought it up, it is because they see that the needs of being a blessing to other people. And it doesn't matter who it was.
Right.
Now, of course, you will have one who tried to dominate. Now, that's another story, because, of course, we're talking about the rich and the poor.
Rich and the poor, rich
You
and
know,
the poor.
yeah, because I know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I mean, I
At
think
the end of the day,
I think at the end of the day, what it really is, there's one privilege that we should talk about that really goes across the spectrum in America, and that's money privilege.
right?
Let's talk about money privilege. Let's talk about all those rich people, regardless of your race,
That is
or
correct.
your gender, or your origin. If you have money, you can get away with a lot of
Well,
things.
of course you
Think about it. Let's say I commit a crime, you commit a crime, we're just commoners. They're gonna throw a book at us. They're gonna throw a book at us so hard
Doesn't
that
matter.
we're gonna end up in a pen for years, for life. And that's the thing, though. But now you're rich, and regardless of your color, you have a lots of money, and you have makes donations, and all of this. You have these connections, and all of a sudden, it just trickles down. It doesn't come out as bad
As we assume that it should have, like, wait a minute,
Right.
something's just not right with this picture.
See, for me, that's why, like, I guess in my opinion, I think very, trust me, let me be clear. I'm not discerning this, and I'm not talking about, way back when, during slavery time, once slaves were freed, and still, only white people get the jobs, but black people, they would migrate to the
Correct.
north and everything else. That was, you consider that time, as you were white, you were privileged, you had the
Correct.
privilege and everything else. But in this day and age, I think the term white privilege is racist because you're assuming that because of this person's color,
Right.
they have
Right.
better than you, they have more entitlement than you.
No, I know some poor white people now, and they're not prejudiced at all.
Right.
Right. I think America has been brainwashed and programmed. Honestly, they need to get deprogrammed. However, with that being said, at the end of the day, it's really, honestly, it's about rich and poor.
Yeah, it's always
at the end of the day.
but
At
as
the
I
end of the day,
say,
that's what it is.
people need to be more sensitive and more understanding of it's not just two races that exist.
Right.
And it's not only prejudice or racism amongst these two races that it's always being brought up.
Now, let me ask you this, because we've got about 5 minutes left. Have you ever experienced prejudice or racism with your own kind?
Absolutely.
All right, can you
Absolutely.
quickly share, in a brief minute or two?
Well, where can I say? What can I say? I moved a lot, so I lived in different places. So everywhere I went, I was a new person. I did not belong there.
Wow.
My name, they would assume that I'm something else. In certain parts of this world, depending on your name, they associate you with certain religion and certain nationality, and you immediately perceived as a enemy or / bad person.
Right.
Although you have nothing to do with it because you didn't give yourself your name, but your parents did. But no, yes. There's also a lot of discrimination against single moms. I was a single mom, and when you're a single mom, you don't belong nowhere. Basically, they plain blank tell you, you do not belong here, you cannot be here. This is only for couples, married couples.
Wow.
Or you're not part of our church. You can't, unless you convert, you can't
The
come to
church?
the church.
I can't believe not the church. Oh no,
Yes.
no, not the church,
Yes, the
Maximilian.
church.
The church
And
is
then-
formed to help people.
And then is
Sure.
people are raised to hate certain nationality, and if you resemble that, just resemble. They never asked you. Resemble that, you immediately hate it, and
You're
they will
enemy.
beat you up. They probably even kill you if you find yourself in the wrong places, and you have a name, or you by any chance have any type of markings that are marked that show what religion you belong to.
Wow. Let me just share this before we close out. I'm gonna give you the last
Word.
remarks, words, Maximilian. In 1988, I was at a gas station in Altus, Oklahoma. And I don't know if I shared this already, but it was a little kid on the back. I'm getting gas, and he just rolled by, "You nigger," just like that, just out of the,
Wow.
just had the kid had to be no more than 7, 8 years old. And I'm looking like, wait a minute, 1988, blacks still play on the team, all this other stuff. I'm not understanding. I said, okay, maybe I'm tripping. I ain't.
Right.
Went to Hutchinson, Kansas. Played Hutchinson, Kansas Junior College. And I know they don't probably not like this PR, but this was around like 1980, 88. It was like going back the winter year, and we was in the tournament there. And I was at the base of the free throw line, the box out a player, and I can hear the fan from their gym, "Tig, you ain't shit, and you ain't nothing but a nigga." Just like that.
Holy
I mean, like I said, my parents experienced all of that. They was
Right.
born in the 30s.
Right.
So they had every right to teach me about hate
Right.
or to hate other white people, other people, but they never did. But they was hated on,
Right.
and they had every right to hate back, but they never taught us to hate. And they have a right to do that.
Wonderful.
But
That's the right way of
that
raising
blew my
kids.
mind. That totally blew my mind. That I could understand why this grown person hollering at a young kid. I don't know, but like maybe
Right.
19, 20 years old. So come on, Max, close us out with something that that are going to uplift us.
I want to mention one of my employments where people told me that I don't belong there because they think that certain type of job only people of darker shades than mine are ones to be doing.
Well, I think honestly, it's just my opinion. You look pretty, like your nails and all of that. So they just figured that, But and
Go
I
ahead, Max.
actually explained this to her, and I
Okay,
said
go
if
ahead.
she was a brunette, she probably wouldn't have got no slack. But hey,
It's those prejudices, man.
come on.
So what are we gonna say? I guess my final remarks for today's show is just something for everybody to think about. If you see somebody in trouble, you see somebody fall down, do you really look at them and say, sorry, you're not my shit, I'm not helping you out? Or do you look at them and say,
That's deep.
I saw that feel the burn sticker on your
deep.
car, and yeah, I'm just gonna let you feel the burn on the concrete. Or
Wow.
or do you look at him and say, oh, that Trump sticker, yeah, bye? No.
Yeah.
You when you see somebody in need, somebody fall down in front of you, you can extend your hand, you help them. You don't look at their race, nationality, origin, political affiliation, none of that shit.
Yeah.
You just look at people for who they are. And personally, for myself, this is why I'm careful, about the people I'll let in my life.
Right,
I'm
right.
very careful about how I would say, I'm very guarded, because I've experienced racism, I've seen the ignorance of other people, and I'm very, kind of iffy about whom I open to, who is in my life.
Right.
But I just want everybody to know, if you, whoever the next person is that you meet that may sound from a different origin, or anything, just don't instigate them, don't ask them 1,000 questions, where are you from, what do you do? No, just let people be themselves. Once you let people accept and let people be themselves,
Well,
you're
take
gonna
a
find
chance
out,
to get to know them.
you're gonna find out everything that you need to know about
Correct.
it. And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's a beauty. That's a beauty. And if you get to know people, let people
What you really
show you who they are.
what really people want is to be respected. You just
Right.
acknowledged as a human being,
Correct.
and that's what I always wanted, and that's exactly what people, what all of us want. Acknowledge me as a human being. You're gonna see the love that I have, and let me see the love that's within you. So with that in mind, I just want to say, America, we are the circle, and the circle is one.
That is true.
Yes.
And with that being said, y'all, let me tell y'all, I just want to bless you tonight. It's a good subject we have talked about. It's a real touchy subject. And I want y'all to be mindful that pray for one another.
Mm-hmm.
Just doesn't matter who you are, pray for one another.
Exactly.
And I guarantee you racism will end. And please, ladies and gentlemen, teach your children not to be hateful. But my parents didn't teach me, none of us.
Good one. Listen to this, man.
I
Listen
agree,
to
and
this,
I
man.
just want to say, look at the kids, the way they interact with each other. Unless you bring the whole subject of color, they don't see color
At all.
They accept each other as kids. That's my friend. I want to play with them. They're fun.
freeing their love and
You
they're
know, they-
open-minded.
Exactly.
And with that said, Ben, y'all, thank you for enjoying the Very Opinionated Show. Peace
and love.
out.
Peace and love.
Good night.
Good night.